Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Brush Live. I am Leah from Leah and Noell Design Co.
I'm Bianca, Lotus Theory Designs. Hot Mess Express over here.
Bianca, I have to tell you something. You sound like a kidnapper.
Oh, come on, really? No, don't do this. Computer and tech and internet. And...
Oh, my goodness. You know what I'm going to do? Maybe I can connect my AirPods to my tablet so that I can hear you from there. Maybe it's a weird connection on my phone. So while I do that, why don't you go ahead and introduce your piece and what you're doing and all of those things, and I'll just be quiet over here and see if I can configure the sound. Because I know it's on my end and it's not on, nobody else seems to hear it when it happens. I don't know what it is.
Can you guys hear me okay? I can hear you just fine.
I don't understand that, but...
Why does this keep happening? Are you having a snowstorm? Oh, you can't hear me anyway. I'm having a whole conversation with Leah and she can't even hear me.
You know what I can do? I can... Sorry.
Go.
I can read it on the tablet too. I can actually read what you're saying. No, that won't work.
Okay, well, it is what it is. So let's see if she can fix it. In the meantime, I will go over what I am doing here. Let's see if she can fix it. If not, we will leave and come back like we did 2 weeks ago. And then if it doesn't work, I just don't know. I don't know what the problem is. That is very odd. Anyway, so I am working on this cabinet. I know that you can only see a portion of it. Let me see if I can... Yeah, I don't want to move my camera because then I start having technical difficulties. But anyway, I went ahead and this is a, how do you say it? Is it Jacobean? Jacobean? I've heard different ways that that word has been said or used. And I don't know. Sorry, I hear like static in the background. That must be Leah. So hopefully that's a good sign. Anyway, so I've got it all prepped and everything for this live. And it's coated right now with a base coat of chocolate, which is a light brown, I would say, by Dixie Belle. Oftentimes I like to give my pieces a base coat. So I have this theory, right? That when you, the thicker the skin, the more durable. So I tend to give my pieces at least 2 coats of paint on the base. And again, just kind of in support of my theory, which is the thicker the skin, the more durable. So anyway, by doing this, it's going to allow me to let some of this chocolate peek through because I do enjoy a grungier look. And it's going to only, you know, if I'm blending, I only need to do 1 coat versus blending several coats because ain't nobody got time for that. Hopefully it's going okay over there, Leah. Can you hear me, Leah? 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 This is so awkward. Leah. Leah, Leah.
Yes, I can. So
good.
It must be my phone. It must be my phone because I can hear you on my tablet.
Yeah.
But we're going to be a little delayed.
Okay. That works for me. This is one of those moments, you guys, where you have to be comfortable in silence. We're so busy all of the time and we fill our, you know, our senses and everything with stimulation all the time. And when there's silence, it can be uncomfortable. So this will actually be a nice exercise for me. Leah, in 15 seconds, when you hear me say this, maybe you could introduce your piece, which by the way is absolutely stunning. So delayed.
Yes, hopefully the 15-second delay has happened. This is, I normally don't purchase pieces with glass or hutches. Now I'm hearing myself over. Okay, we're going to roll with it. So if we're awkward, that's why. Anyway, so, uh-oh. Okay, anyway, we have a hutch here. It has glass. I've covered it. I have put primer on it. I did a raised stencil with Dixie Mud, which if you are following my page, Leah Noell Design Co., I did this live last night just to show you guys the process. And I'm trying to build texture. I'm trying to build texture. So I am going to be using sea spray, and I'm actually using the silk and desert rose. And then I'm using a mix. I don't even know what's in here. It's Florida orange and I think pumpkin spice. So I'm going to do 2 hutches here soon. I'm going to use this. I'm going to do this hutch, and then I'm going to do another hutch, and I'm going to decide which one I'm going to keep and which one I'm going to sell. And this is so funny because I'm hearing myself on delay talking. So it's quite interesting. So I'm going to be quiet now.
Oh, God. All right. I guess I'll fill the silence. I'm going to get down on the floor. Okay. So you guys, as we go, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I'm going to try my best to to multitask. The older I get, the less my brain works when I try that. But I'm going to try to paint as well as keep an eye on the comments, questions. Let's have a conversation. Let's have some Q&A as we go. And then Leah, if you, as you're watching the stream, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Just jump in and throw them out there. So, all right. So as far as I am concerned, you guys, my process is, I don't plan. I literally was texting Leah this morning. Like,
yes, I am
don't know.
watching the stream. So.
Okay, good. Anyway, I was texting Leah this morning. I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going with this. So oftentimes when that happens, I just start painting something and then I see what comes out. So that's pretty much what's about to happen here. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit more for you guys. Oh, yeah, Patty. So Patty says, Bianca, your piece looks similar to a piece Leah did, which ended up in mulling.
From doing.
I think I know which one you're talking about, Patty. I wish we could have a conversation that's fluid. This is so awkward, but whatever. Let's just go with it. Hey, Debbie.
We're gonna have to learn sign language by the time we're done doing these shows because there's always a communication thing.
Or you could fix your tech. Just saying. I'm waiting for her to hear that.
I could definitely fix my tech. I don't know how, but because it works some weeks and it doesn't, and then some weeks it just doesn't work.
Right. All right, what am I doing? Let's see. So right now, you guys, this is vintage duck egg. So many of my pieces are dark, moody. That is my go-to style. However, every once in a while, I do like to, I guess, challenge myself and do something that is a bit softer. So that's going to be my goal here. And if it doesn't work out, and after this live, I post this finished piece and it's dark and moody, then it just didn't work out. Okay, but at least I'm trying. Try to step out of my comfort zone. And once I get going in my process, I start jamming. But oftentimes, like I said, it's just a matter of just starting to slap something on there and seeing what happens. So I just opened up a thing of burlap. See how I feel about it. I do enjoy a stippled look. Leah, what colors are you using?
We both seem to like to paint stippling.
Yeah.
I'm using desert rose and a pumpkin spice and Florida orange mix.
Okay, wait, can you clarify that? So desert rose is a silk color. And what else did you say that you were using? I'm curious because that means that you're using silk and chalk mineral? Interesting.
So I just mixed up some of the pumpkin spice, which was a fall color, in my Florida orange jar. I do that. You know, like when colors start getting low, I'll just mix them together. I just want orange. And then I'm mixing the silk with it. So I'm just getting the stippled base coat going with texture.
So talk a little bit about your stippling. I will say, as you guys are watching me, I have a weird stipple method. I don't just keep
Yours
the
is
same.
Looking really pretty, Bianca.
Oh, nothing's happened yet, but thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere. Anyway, I like, okay, so I'll stipple, and then maybe I'll take my brush and kind of do this. Leah, I know that we're a little bit different on that. So can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, your thought process? Because one of the things that I love about stippling is that it can be messy, it can be sporadic. I feel like a child when I'm stippling, maybe coloring, but also being allowed to color outside of the lines.
So to answer your question, I'm just laying a base coat with this product here mixed with my paint. I did mix it with the silk and I did mix it with the chalk mineral paint. My goal is to create texture in this stippling effect here. I know you're doing more of a blended look, but my goal is to create texture so that when I put mini layers on here, probably watered down layers, it has somewhere to catch. Or when I dry brush, it has somewhere to catch. So my goal is just to create texture to catch color.
Oops, got a little bit of blue in there. That's okay. So for now, you guys, somebody asked what my base coat is. I did say chocolate, so thank you for answering that, Debbie. Sherry wanted to know what my base color is. Chocolate. Debbie, you answered correctly. I did say chocolate. Patty, thank you. So let's all say it together. Jacobean. I mean, that's how I say it. Well, Jacobean, I don't know. I don't actually know how I say it now. Now I'm confused. So I am using
Jacobean,
yeah. I think it might depend on where you're at.
It depends on what part of the country you're in.
Exactly. Yeah, let's go with this.
Sorry, guys, I sound so rude, but I am so delayed over here. I'm really not trying to cut Bianca off every 5 seconds.
It's the Leah show. It is what it is. Yeah, thank you guys for bearing with us on this. You know, whatever the issue is that is making it to where I don't sound human
It's all about me.
to Leah. Yeah, right. Whatever the issue is, I just thank you guys for, you know, still sticking it out with us. And, you know, we'll just be painting today. I guess we're just having a girls' day painting, and you guys get to be sort of flies on the wall and watch us do it. So, but again, if you guys have any questions, let's do Q&A as we go. So I haven't seen any questions necessarily about anything, you know, outside of what we're doing, of course. So if you have any questions, I am trying to keep an eye on the comments, and you know, it'll give us something to talk about as we stroke. Yes, I think I'm going to like this color mixture. So now that I have...
So I'm going to come in with a little bit of dusty blue here, and I'm going to show you my process of mixing the texture. So we have a little bit of texture, little texture medium. Just stir it up, and I'm just going to throw it right on my piece in the center.
I saw a question, so. All right. Lene? Okay, Bianca, that paintbrush. Which one? I'll show you both of which I have out so far. This one is a mini by Dixie Belle, synthetic mini. Probably my most used brush. I have several of these. Had them for years. I am so abusive to my brushes. By the time I'm done here, this whole thing is going to be frayed out and just nasty looking, and I'll clean it. It'll be good as new. The other brush that I'm using is the Scarlet by Dixie Belle. So this one is nice because it's nice and flat, and it's good for, I guess, laying on, I guess, like if you're doing like solid type coats. It's also really nice for this dry brushing effect that I have going on. So I jump around on my brushes a lot. I also grab, just so you know, an oval medium. So if I decide to do any kind of blending of the edges together, I will oftentimes use a dedicated blend brush and just kind of blend the seams together between colors. So, but I haven't gotten to that point yet if I decide to use it. All right. Where was I? Oh man, this is gonna be pretty, you guys. It doesn't look like much now, but I'm starting to see something. Oh, and by the way, I'm pretty much using the same brush for my blues and whites, and then just on the center, I use this brush. So let me keep framing here. Keep framing. Here we go.
It's looking really good.
I'd like to at least get this bottom part to a point of bringing it together for you guys, and then maybe doing some grungy like brown shading. I'd like to at least get it to that point before we say goodbye. But do you guys see how this brown, the chocolate, is peeking through in places underneath? I really, really like that look. So if you guys ever watch me paint live, watch my videos, etc., I probably 90% of the time will do a dark base coat, whether it's chocolate, as you see here. I'll use coffee bean a lot, which is Dixie Belle's like super dark brown. It's like almost black. And then I'll use caviar, black, quite a bit. I wonder what would happen. I feel like this blue needs something. What did I pull?
I learned a lot from, you posted a little video the other day, and it was like, you just did what you're doing, and you let the base coat show through, and I loved it. I learned so much from it.
Well, good. I'm glad I could help. It's really nice to have a paint friend, you guys, because like Leah's saying that she learned so much from my one little video. I've learned a lot from Leah too, whether it be her videos or even just contacting her directly with questions. And so if you guys don't have a paint buddy, get one. They can be lifesavers. Yeah, I'm starting to add, I'm playing here. I put a little bit of Stormy Seas in the mix. Kind of give this blue some depth because it's pretty.
Paint buddies are the best.
But again, I really like a moodier look. I like layers and depth. So let me just toss a little bit of Stormy Seas in here and see what happens. It's pretty subtle. I'm debating, do I want to try something else? Let me try something else. That's the cool thing about paint. You guys, I will literally jump around between colors and see what I like. What would happen if I put just a tiny bit of Yankee blue in the mix? Little trick for you guys because it's starting to get out of control over here. I'll put a little bit of water in the lid so that the paint that's on the lid doesn't dry out. When it starts to get out of control like this and I have too many open paint jars, sometimes I will also just take these lids to the sink and just wash them. Let me see. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. You're a genius because mine are just crusty and gross.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let's add a little bit more. Just kind of around the edges. All right, where was I? Leah, when you hear this, what was the question that you had said that somebody posted in a previous episode that we wanted to address? Thanks, Patty.
So the question was, it was what kind of sander do we use? And my answer was, I just use a Milwaukee palm sander. And she had asked if you preferred the Festool or the Surf Prep. I haven't used either one of them, so I've just used my Milwaukee.
Oh God, guess I'm not using that, you guys. All right. So I have not tried that Festool sander. However, I have been intrigued. I'm always looking for the perfect fit. I do have a Surf Prep. I do like it, but it's not my go-to sander. The Surf Prep was actually great because of all the details on this, so I was able to give it a really good scuff sanding inside of all of these details and all of that. But honestly, my go-to sander is a Milwaukee, like Leah, except she has an orbital. I have a palm sander, but it was $50 at Home Depot, and I don't even know if they sell it anymore. Actually, I've had it for a few years now. Anyway, it gets it done, and it gets it done fast. It's very powerful and substantially cheaper. So not to put you guys off to those things, but to the higher price tag sanders. But truly my go-to is just that high powered, get the job done sander. And also the surface of my Milwaukee is bigger than my Surf Prep. So I cover more area and obviously cut down on the time. So.
Yeah, I have. So I think the big reason why I haven't bought one is my grandpa, he passed away a couple of years ago, and my dad said he had bought him a sander like 30 years ago, and it's the best sander ever. And so I'm waiting for my grandma to find it. So that's going to be the sander I'll probably end up using.
Oh, that's special. I like that. Let's bring that white down a little bit. Oh, Patty said it was her question. Leah, when you get a chance, Patty has a question for you.
I feel
it's
like
right up on the
this is the
screen.
point where I start getting bored with it. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Time to go to the next piece.
I do the same thing.
Yes, it was Patty. Yeah, Patty, to answer your question too, I had my cabinets refinished, and the person that came and did it, not refinished, but replaced. And he bought the Festool, and he said it's the best thing he's bought in 25 years of doing cabinets.
Oh my gosh. Oh, numb legs. Can't sit like that for very long anymore. Susan, I'm sorry. This question came a few minutes ago, so I'm not sure about the context.
My legs always get numb too. And I always take my shoes off. I cannot paint with like my shoes on. I'm in my socks right now.
Oh gosh, Leah's piece is just so pretty. Anyway, Susan, if you want to ask that question again and give me a little bit of context, I'll be happy to answer it for you and put it up on the screen. So Susan says, that's what I like about my surf prep. It's almost dustless. But so is my Milwaukee. I just put that vacuum on its butt and just sucks all the dust up. And, you know, I poke holes in the sandpaper itself. It comes with like a template to poke the holes in, and it sucks it right up. But yeah, having a vacuum on your sander is a must. Okay, here we go. Good. Thank you, Susan. So Susan says, when do you do the base coat dark? Do you only do one coat of the color? So that's a really good question. I do it dark on like 90% of the pieces because 90% of my pieces are dark. But even on this, it's going to be a little bit lighter, but I'm still getting some of that dark coming through. But the chocolate isn't that dark. I will sometimes do a white base coat if I'm doing like, or a beige base coat if I'm doing neutral tones or super light colors. But, you know, so I hope that answers your question. And then I do 2 to 3 coats of the base coat. I said earlier that I have this theory that the thicker the skin, the more durable. Your paint's not going to flake off because it's on there nice and thick. So hopefully that helps you. Patty, I have 2 vacuums. I have one that I got from Harbor Freight. It's a Bauer. I mean, it's alright. I guess it gets the job done. I actually bought a Ryobi cordless for myself for Christmas because, you know, cords everywhere. It just makes everything a little bit more complicated. So I bought a Ryobi cordless. Unfortunately, even though I bought the high-powered, whatever batteries that are supposed to last longer, it dies in like 15 minutes. So my husband built me a battery like a dummy battery that you plug in and all of that. So that didn't work out the way I hoped. But I do like the vacuum, the Ryobi, because the power, it sucks better. So yeah, Susan, exactly. Susan says sanding tops is slow with surf prep. That's exactly why I go for my Milwaukee for that kind of thing. But the surf prep is good, like I said, for these types of things. So, all right. Let me see if I can show you guys. I put a little bit of chocolate here to see if I like where I was going. Ignore the legs, but it's just giving me like a grungy look here, age. So I'm probably going to continue to roll with that and just keep layering on this paint and see what happens. See what I mean? Wires everywhere. Leah, you paint fast. Jeez Louise, I need to get going, you guys. I need to get it together. Leah's going to beat me.
I'm feeling the inspiration for this piece.
Yeah, I'm not. But I will. It'll happen.
I got 2 hutches to paint, and then I'm going to decide which one is going to go in my living room. So I'm like,
It's starting to get a little bit dry. Put a little bit of water on that. All right, let's carry this white up a little bit. And a little bit of blue. Where's that blending brush? Let me show you guys something. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. All right. This is pine cone. I freaking love pine cone, you guys. It's the most Underrated color, I swear. So what would happen if I put a little bit here?
Pine cone's my favorite color.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's underrated. So I just put a little bit of pine cone there. That's what I love about this stuff. It's just paint. I'll cover it up if I don't like it. But, and then I sprayed it with water. I'm going to let it sit for a sec. Then I'm going to take this wet rag. I'm going to dab at it and see if I get a cool effect. I do a lot of my pieces this way, you guys. So. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yep, it's giving me just a little bit of aged.
I think that's one thing that we can mention is like when you're painting, there's a lot of times where I'm using like techniques that were popular in the 90s, such as like sponge painting or using rags and tools like that aren't necessarily a brush.
Yep. I'm 100% in agreement. Leah, when we get out of here, I'm going to try to fix your problem or try to see what the problem could be. So I'm telling you this now. Don't let me forget to have that conversation with you when we're done here, so I can kind of help you troubleshoot, because it's definitely more enjoyable when you can hear not 15 seconds in the future.
It really is. I appreciate it. I had some red flags about the sound come up beforehand, so we can review it after we're done painting here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we have a question. Okay, Celia. I hope I said that right. Leah, this question's for you. So I'm going to leave it up there until Leah sees it while she paints her beautiful desert sunset look.
Cecilia, so do you think it's possible to use more strong colors like red and dark blue to get the same look you are having? Yeah, you can. You just have to remember some colors are more overpowering. Purple and red overpower. So just keep that in mind. The closer the color, the easier they are to blend. So like this orange and this pink, they're kind of part of the same color family, so they blend nicely together. It's a little harder to blend the blue into the orange because they're not really as similar. So the closer the colors are together, the easier they're going to be to blend.
I am in agreement. Hopefully that answers your question. Leah, you got another question. For those of you just jumping on, we apologize. We are having technical difficulties. She is getting the information or what I am saying on like a 15-second delay. So we'll leave the question up there for her.
Leah, are you blending that lighter chalk paint with the silk dusty rose? Yeah, I'm blending the silk, you guys. I knew that this is like a big rule breaker, but I have not had an issue blending silk and chalk paint together. It's actually worked great for me.
We're so controversial. I have this whole attitude of I do what I want. So I've mixed different paint types and brands together too. But in this instance, like silk and chalk, I've done that before. I have done silk with the patina line, did like blends with that. I will often use the patina line of paints and blend with those with either the chalk or the silk or both. So just see what happens, you guys. There are no rules. So Cheryl wants to know what colors I'm using. I have many going on. So this is chocolate. This is sandbar.
I don't like the blue on my piece. I think the blue is about to disappear.
I like the blue. You guys, do you guys like the blue? I like the blue. Anyway, this is sandbar. This is vintage duck egg, and then I started adding a little bit of chocolate. I put a little bit of rebel yellow here to see if I liked it. So I'm going to leave it there for the time being, see if I like it, just to kind of give me some, I don't know, some interest. So sometimes I'll add just a hair yellow to my pieces, depending on the look I'm going for. So this is my process, though. Like, oftentimes I will take an hour just on one section, and then I'll build out from there once I start feeling what I'm doing. And then it just goes... The rest of it, once I figure out where I'm going and what I'm doing, it will flow quickly. Because Leah's right. There does come a point where you're like, okay, I'm bored now. Moving on.
Yeah, it's like I feel like once I get the first coat on, it'll take me like 2 weeks to come back to it because I'm like, okay, that was fun. That was what I wanted to get out of my brain. Now I'm ready to move on with my life.
Exactly. It's getting there. The paints are starting to get all dried out, which I'm okay with. Nothing wrong with clumpy paint. Because it actually gives it a good texture. So I don't say that to make you guys think, let me get rid of this, that the finished product will be clumpy, because it won't. I go over my pieces with sandpaper, depending on how texturized it ends up being. With sandpaper anywhere from a grit of 500 to 1200 before I seal it. And that way, even though it will look textured, it will be smooth to touch. So just little things I like to do. Yep. What do you guys think so far? It's nowhere near as amazing as Leah's.
Bianca's got that quality control going on all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I could just relax, but I guess it's just not my DNA. Why fight who I am, right? A little bit yellow.
Bianca, that piece was definitely made to be blue. I love your technique and your process.
Thank you. I'm struggling a little bit because, you guys, this is not my go-to color palette, but I'm going to see it through. It will not best me. I think it'll really start to come together when I don't know how I feel about this pine cone, so I'm going to just do this, let a little bit of a peek through. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, where am I?
I find pine cone to be a great finishing color.
Oh yeah.
For like, you can like dry brush it on.
So you guys, the thing about this piece too is that it's oak. If you guys know anything about working with wood and painting wood, oak it kind of sucks, okay? Because the grain on oak goes super deep, and I mean, it's still visible. And this is with, I put a couple coats of primer, and then I put a couple coats of chocolate, and now I'm laying layered coats of blending over that, and the grain is still showing up. Which it is what it is. It's an oak piece, so you're going to see some grain. But just a little tip for you guys. Another reason, because I think Suzanne had asked, how many coats and whatnot. And I spray on my base coat, so it makes it a lot easier. But what happens is that the more coats you put on oak, a piece like this where the grain is super deep and texturized, it kind of helps to fill it in a little bit. So, if I had just left this with one coat of chocolate, you would see a lot more of that oaky grain, whereas it's not totally smooth, but it's filled in quite a bit. So just a little tip for you guys. And you know what? Sometimes I do this. Sorry guys, it's coming out of the camera. I got to look at it. I think I'm liking it. It's grungy, it's drippy. It just needs something. What does it need? I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of this like drippy effect, like the paint's being pulled by gravity. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of that and go with it. I think that this will be all right. I think it'll really start to come together too once I really get into the part of the point to really accenting it with, like browns, and sometimes I like to let the paint drip down here, kind of give it like it's been rusting over time look. And sometimes, like this whole grungy look is working well with the oak because of that deep grain. So it's kind of, I guess, playing into an aged, almost primitive type look, rather than if I were trying to do just a flat finish over such deep grain. So, all right. Any questions? Leah? Be prepared to do some talking here, please. Leah, you got a question? Poor Leah. I sound like one of her kids. Leah, mommy. Should change her name.
Leah, so your brush is dry, right? You just spray the water after your first coat. You change the brushes. Sorry, I cannot understand from the video. So, Cecilia, my brushes are a little bit dry. Sometimes I missed just kind of how to feel. I have for the sea spray colors, I'm using chip brushes, and I have 3 out, 1 for each color. And then I have these 3. These 2 I've been dipping in paint, and then this one is dry. So when I'm going over, you see me like going over this right here where I'm kind of blending it a little more. It is a dry brush. And then right now, I'm going to just dip a little in paint, and I'm just going to kind of start layering over this blue because it's dry. I'm just going to kind of start layering over the blue. I really have no rhyme or reason at this point. I'm just doing whatever feels right. I know that it's like not a very specific answer, but sometimes it's just you got to get a feel for the paint.
She's not wrong. That's pretty much my process in a nutshell. Where'd it go? Patty loves that we're both painting live, Leah. Mill came in late, but they're enjoying what we're doing. Tracy, thank you. Tracy's liking what I have going on. Blue is almost lavender. On Leah's piece or mine? I'm loving Leah's piece right now. It's so Arizona sunset. Leah, your piece would look amazing in my house. I'm just saying. Hi, Shannon. Shannon's watching from YouTube in California. Welcome. Good, Tracy.
Hey, I'm going to be in Arizona next month for like 10 minutes.
Okay. 10 minutes, Leah. Hey, Amy. Are you just passing through, Leah?
I should probably answer. Kurt's good friend is moving back here. So he's got a lot of cars he needs to move back. So we're going down there to pick up his cars, and we're all gonna drive back. So last night Kurt had me watch Smokey and the Bandit. So we're gonna try to get back here as quick as we can.
So the point is, you'll be here, but I won't see you. Is that what I'm getting? I see how it is. I see how it is.
Maybe. I'm going to see if I can stop in on you. We'll see. I'm hoping. I told Kurt I wanted to come on Wednesday, but we're flying out on Friday. I was like, well, I'll just go early. So I thought we could paint together. But he's like, no, we're not. We're going to go together. I'm like, okay.
Well, I understand. I probably would have said the same thing if I were Kurt. All right. I think I'm going to start moving on a little bit because, yeah, I think I'm going to start moving on a little bit. So we are at the 12 minutes left mark. Again, if you guys have any questions, ask them, drop them in the comments.
I'm going to use your trick, and I'm going to actually use my rag right here just to pull some paint off and build texture.
Oh, it's so pretty. Leah's piece is so pretty. All right, Barbara says, hi from Arizona. Hi, Barbara. I'm in Arizona too. When I try to do the blending, it tends to become muddy. Am I just working it too long? Yeah, I would say so. So when you say it's becoming muddy, do you mean the colors that you're blending together at the seams becomes muddy? That will oftentimes happen, A, if you're overworking it. B, if you're using colors that are hard to blend. So Leah was saying earlier that it is a lot easier to blend colors that are like or within the same family. So where it might be harder to blend, let me just toss something out there. Purple with yellow, okay? It might start to kind of become muddy. I don't even know if that's a good example. I'm trying to think of two colors that are harder. Anyway, look at Leah's piece. Hers is actually a really good example. So she's got so many contrasting colors going on that piece. Let me get rid of this so you guys can see it. That it can be hard to blend at those seams. So, and I don't want to speak for Leah, I'll let her kind of give you her insight, but she's not overworking those seams to her colors. She's just doing it enough. And then another nice thing about stippling is this, instead of trying to seamlessly blend this way, about, blending like this, is that it's a lot easier to control mud not happening. So, whereas my piece, I have like this blue and this white, and it's blending a lot easier because, the colors are, I guess, complementary to each other. So hopefully that answers your question. Leah, when you hear this, can you talk a little bit about blending, like how you're blending your seams of all of your varying colors?
Yes, I'll answer that. So I'm going to just speak to this blending technique. Bianca is absolutely right. The stippling makes it a lot easier. The other thing that makes blending easier is layering. So this is going to be layers. So I'm going to probably put like watered down layers of different colors just washed over the piece. And then it's going to be a beautiful blended look, but that's going to kind of cover some of these seams that aren't going, that don't look seamless. I'll also do dry brushing like this. So you can kind of see how the dry brushing with the white is blending it together a little more.
Shannon says I'm her paint buddy. Shannon, I heart you.
I've also noticed if I wipe a brush on a rag when blending, it prevents muddy. That is absolutely true, Darlene.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Darlene. Keep a rag, a clean shop towel with you, and you can use it to wipe your brush, your blending brush. So, you know, I'm going for a drier blend. My brush isn't getting very caked up here. This is my blending brush, but it's fine enough to not have to wipe it. If I were doing like using a whole lot more water, this brush would get a lot more saturated with paint. I would just wipe it down in between passes. Darlene, thank you for saying that. That's a really good point. Okay, so I did Stormy Seas on the leg here, you guys. What do you think? So we have Vintage Duck Egg, which is lighter. I mean, it's not that much darker, but it's just a hair darker down here, traveling down to the Stormy Seas. So what do you guys think? If you can see
I love it.
I am about done, personally. Because it's going to be one of those things, I can tell, where I need to embrace my process, do a little bit, walk away.
Me too. I want to get this audio thing figured out so we can have a good conversation next week.
I know. That is so frustrating, but it is what it is. Again, you guys have been really good sports with us on the audio issues, so we thank you. Just put a tiny bit of duck egg in here. Yeah, better. Can't leave well enough alone over here. I always got to do a little something, something extra. Yep. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have a mess down here. I know you can't see it, but who's going to clean this up? Moments like this, I miss having small children because I make it a game. Like, come in here and clean it up. I'll time you. How fast can you do it? Yep, I'm covering these all up because what I'm going to do is once we wrap up here is I'm going to have some lunch. And I'm going to come back with a fresh brain and see where I go from here. But so far, I'm liking it. I'm thinking, I know you can't see the whole thing. Again, I don't want to move my camera because my tech has been kind of funky. I'm thinking I might incorporate more of the white up top, this lighter color sandbar up top as I go to, I don't know, just kind of make the second tier up here have a bit of its own identity, but yet complements the base here. Don't hold me to it. And again, don't hold me to this either, because if I post it and it's purple, then that's what happened. They changed my mind a lot. Purple's my go-to. When in doubt, paint it purple. Okay, any questions?
I hope you post it and it's purple and blue.
It's a great color combo. Oh my gosh, these are so dirty. I'm gonna have to do some paint jar maintenance. Okay. All right, you got me. I'm done. Any questions for us before we head out?
All right, Bianca, I'm gonna carry us out.
All right.
Okay.
Sure, Leah.
Okay, you guys, I apologize for the awkwardness. We do have an audio issue we're going to go figure out right now. So without further ado, I am going to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience. And Bianca, thank you for your patience as well. So we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.